I don't know if it's a choice or not. I don't think the clarity is as much, I don't see it as much. I come from two cultures, from the US and from Sudan. Does everybody know where Sudan is? Northeast Africa, kind of. Very different context, but in both cultures, I would say that women who don't have children, I'm not going to say choose or not choose or whatever, they don't have children, after a certain age are demeaned, like made lower. I feel in the US there is a lot of pressure that to say it's a choice. And you have to have a choice, and then when you don't have children, you're supposed to have a really fun life. It's supposed to be somehow better than women's lives who have children. And on top of it, either that or you're supposed to be hyper successful at work. You can't be a normal person. You can't just be a woman who, has a boring life and a shitty job or whatever. So that's the US context, right? In the Sudanese context, what you have is children are very much linked to marriage, because it's so difficult to have children outside marriage. You're pretty much losing everything, every kind of support, if you do that. And in that context, it's always linked to getting married, because people are like, the TikTok is also about, finding a man and like settling down before like all your eggs are gone. And there's that very strong pressure and very demeaning kind of words for women. I actually never thought about it before. There's a word called baira. It's a very demeaning word, which is used a lot by comedians as well, like in popular culture. And I don't actually know what the origin of that word is, but it definitely gives you the sense of something that's been on the shelf and it's expired, right? I mean, I don't know if my impression of it is correct, but that like you are undesired, and often because you didn't make enough of an effort. Like you didn't make yourself pretty enough or whatever it is that you're supposed to do to get married. And then there's a generation of women like my mom who don't like men at all. She was married, she had the kids, but she has a very low opinion of men. She doesn't really care anymore about, the marriage piece, except you need to have it because, otherwise how will you have children? And she always says you can get rid of him after, just have children. And I think what's interesting is my older sister has children, and a couple of years ago, I had a mental health crisis, and I reached out to my mom, and my mom couldn't do much for me because for her, mental health is a very American thing. I don't know, it's cultural stuff, you just need to be strong and. But I realized that she was feeling very bad later because she's sort of had an explosion once and said when are you going to have children? I will be too old to help you with the children. So for her, in her mind, this woman who is not traditional in any other way, very much felt that her role also as a grandmother is to help me with children. And if I didn't have children, it's like our relationship is, what does it mean anymore? The support I'm asking for is not something she can provide, but she can provide support to me as a mother, helping me with children. So I felt very excluded because with my sister, as difficult as their relationship is, she knows what to do with her. There's a script, This is how you help her with the housework, with the children, and so. With me, it's like we're in new territory where she doesn't know how she can help me, right? And I think it's very also stressful for her, what is this woman's life going to, what is my daughter's life going to look like in the future without children? And so I also want to reject, in both contexts, I don't want to go so far and say it's my choice and look at me, I'm playing an instrument and traveling the world. My life is so fantastic because I'm child-free, which is an expression I don't like either because it sounds like a disease. Children are not a disease either. So I like that you came up with a different word. I feel I need one too. But at the same time, I think that, to be accepted as someone who doesn't have children and still valued and supported is a really big struggle, whether it's a choice or not. So difference, she grew up most of her adult life in Sudan. I grew up most of my life outside. And, I'm interested in children, but in other ways. I always think of myself, not that I could have been a mother and I'm still, it could have happened, but I also think of children that, like, for example, fostering and other things which she doesn't understand. We also have a really difficult understanding of adoption, like within our culture. People have a really hard time with that concept as well. So for me, it's like, I don't need it to be my child or something. I'm in so many of the children's life, people in my life. So she can see that, but for her, it's like, you still need to have your own children. And I don't think we have many conversations about it, because I really don't know how to have a conversation with her about it. And I'm not sure if it's important enough anymore for me to do that. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm 41 and I'm more it's not that I'm at peace with it, but it's, we are forging our own lives too. There's also a limit of an experience maybe of someone, and I'm going into some territory she does not know about. Why does she have to adjust to it? She doesn't. I mean, I tell her not to worry, but that's about it. And I think, it's a shame, but I also understand where she's coming from. That's what she can offer. She can offer concretely very practical help with children, but she doesn't know what to do with mental health, or doesn't know what to do with other issues that I face in my life that are different. So I have friends, so it's okay. I mean, it doesn't have to always be through the mother as well, right? That comes.
I grew up in a household where I saw my mother losing her career for children, and my father wasn't helping. So I saw there's something wrong in this very structure of the family, of nuclear family itself. So I feel, because my mother is the most important person for me in my life, I feel like my mission is to contribute to changing this structure of family. Before this happened, I feel I should not have children, but this is my circumstances. So maybe if I was born in a different family, maybe I would think different. But like this right now, as who I am, I don't want children for this reason.
Yeah, I was going to thank you for bringing up other ways of becoming a mother or a parent. And I think it's very important to think about that and talk about it and exchange ourselves in our experiences. Because when we're talking about motherhood and not deciding to become a mother or a parent, we're often talking about biological children. And that's another aspect of the choice, maybe, of saying, do I want to go through pregnancy and all the difficulties it entails also within our society, not only bodily, And I think it helps very much to think about alternative ways of having a relationship to children in your life, maybe not your own children. And while adopting is very difficult sometimes because of legal issues, and still I think we could promote, also in a feminist practice, other ways of relating with children. And I can't tell you too much about it from my own experience, but I met an activist, a Spanish activist whose name I forgot. This is horrible, but I remember the name of her book, which is Maternidades Subversivas, so subversive motherhoods, and where she talks with many people about many ways of having a relationship to children, of being a parent. And I found it so inspiring also within feminism, because often in feminist spaces we don't talk too much about motherhood or having children or being a parent. Yeah. And I found it very inspiring to think like outside the box, also the box that's presented to us from society, from patriarchy, to think about where is becoming a mother also as a physical experience linked with patriarchy. Like, why does everybody want me to do that with my body too? Like, it's not only something in your life, but something that will happen with your body or will not.
Yeah, the point I wanted to make is also not only about motherhoods and relationship of maternity towards other people, but just the question of strong relationships. And I also have the experience, a lot of my friends who get children, they become closer to their parents again. So there's this whole line of the big family, and they have hardly no time or energy or love in the sense of like openness and ways of relating for others. And I have the feeling I have to make up for that in some way. I know I still like them a lot, they still like me a lot, but they don't have so much energy. So I'm the one calling, proposing things, taking care of their children, organizing stuff. And they're very grateful for that. But I also have the feeling if everyone around just gets own children, then no one is around to do that stuff, right? And then we all fall into that trap even stronger. And then obviously we have to analyze why do we have this trap of patriarchy and capitalism, and we have no time because, I don't know, everyone works so many working hours. So I guess that's also an important layer of that. But I also have the feeling I don't want to turn down all the love I have for my friends, but still feel like, okay, I can still have that, and I won't be the weird one running around and be like, oh, please love me, but more like I'm the one still making sure our relationships that work and others also recognize that. And I think that's a missing part in society as well, that we recognize the love that is given in friendships only if it's very horizontal. So if you have this always on the same level. Yeah. And it's very recognized within families, but it's very hard to say, oh, it's good if people are there who don't have their own families because they still have more love and friendship and time to give for others who might be more stressed at some point with their families.
So I told my parents I didn't think I wanted kids when I was probably 19 or 20, and they were upset about it. And then my mom had a young woman who she'd been mentoring for, at this point, 20 years, who had kind of raised her own siblings. Her own parents weren't very present because of immigration issues. And when she then had kids, her kids call my parents grandma and grandpa. And it's this really lovely thing where my parents have made these relationships that I think they wanted to have. I'm an only child, so they've made these relationships that they want to have without asking that of me, which is fantastic. I think it's a relationship that they're having, and it's not something that I can give them, and I think that's something that I try to practice in my own life. You know, taking and giving in connections in ways that feel comfortable. And I just find it really interesting that they've done that kind of without that structure when they're fairly traditional otherwise. You know, they made that themselves in these relationships.
I think becoming pregnant in unnatural way would be not in there, would not fit into this image of a good setting for a baby. So I think the way of becoming pregnant or the relationships the baby comes into would be very important too.